Question 4 says that you can use text 1, 2 or 3. You have to respond using 2. Compare how 2 texts from the stimulus booklet invite the responder to reflect on the role of memory in how we see the world. Okay, so here we go. The question is on memory. So we have to decide which texts have enough in them to talk about memory. That's really important. And you'll notice that the word is in the question, the verb at the start is compare. So we're able to say that both texts are the same, or we can compare them in a sense of saying, well, one does it this way and one does it the other, and that's the way that you'll generally go. But you have to make little connections between the two. When I look at this poem, I don't have enough confidence in it to be able to talk about memory. It doesn't work for me, so I'm not going to use that one. But I'm very confident that this is about memories because photos draw on memories. And I know that this text, Boy Swallows the Universe, I'm feeling very comfortable about that. So I'm going to use those two. You are allowed to use the same things you've spoken about in the earlier questions, but you want to add a bit of variety to it. And I'll show you how I'll do that when we look at the answer. So it's okay to repeat yourself, but you have to be able to embellish it. You don't want to just write exactly the same thing. So we're going to write like a mini essay. It's a 7-mark response, so we need a fair bit of detail. So you'll notice I've got an introduction, and it's just a couple of sentences, 3 sentences. I've got 2 paragraphs on text 2, and then I've got 1 paragraph on text 3, and then I've got a little conclusion. You'll notice that there's a fair bit of writing there, so you have to allocate a fair bit of time to this question. So in this paper there were 4 questions, a 4, 4, 5 and a 7. So you want to be in 40 minutes, you want to be allowing close to 20 minutes for this, because it is really the 7-mark response that differentiates between the A's and the B's. And so you want to make sure you've got enough in there to warrant that 7th mark. So let's have a look. Memories serve an important role in our lives. I'll just get rid of that D. Memories serve an important role in our lives. Okay, hasn't answered the question yet. We look back fondly on times past as a means of celebrating our lives, our experiences and connections that we have made. So now I'm getting into the role of memory in the world. So it helps us celebrate and look back on all those connections. So that's really hinting towards those individual and collective experiences. Text 2 explores the impact of capturing memories as a means of sharing good times with friends and family. So there's a statement saying that's how memory is significant in text 2. And text 3 emphasises our ability to use memories as a means of overcoming hardships. So now I'm starting to differentiate between the 2 texts, and the function of memory is different in both of them. That's the comparison that I'm going to make. Let's have a look at text 2. Text 2 captures the excitement of the photography craze in 1930s Australia. The photograph on the website homepage reflects a candid moment in which a family enjoy a day out in town. Smiling faces and positive body language present a warm memory to be cherished. So there's my visual literacy in there. The article, and that's pretty similar to what was in the earlier statement answer. The article uses alliteration in the headline, Street Snapshot Craze, to emphasise the excitement surrounding the street photography. So that's something new that I've popped in there. The pun, picture this, establishes a hypothetical scenario where you as the reader are invited to enter into the excitement of the street photography. Second person, eager to see your picture, you hand over your card, details the joy created from sharing a memory via a photo. The bright and conversational tone of the anecdote reflects the importance of photographic memories in our world. So I'm setting up and I'm using some examples in here to get to this point. The memories are really important, in our lives. Following the anecdote, so now I'm supporting all these ideas with the next thing. Following the anecdote, the article becomes more formal and outlines interest in these images. The extract from the newspaper report, few people in Sydney have escaped being snapped, outlines the scale of the trend at the time, and positive statements such as the public loved it emphasise how photography was a shared experience and a means by which to share one's life with friends and family. Okay, so it is building all those ideas, and I'm really showing that I understand how language has been used in this article. And you'll notice I've got puns and the alliteration here, but down here I'm just talking about the positive statements, the language that's used. The article becomes more formal. So I'm not. I'm showing my understanding of how things are written without having to go and grab specifics and just keep churning out the TEEs. Okay, now we're going to use a comparing word, and in this instance I'm using in contrast, and that shouldn't be a capital C, should it? It should be a small c. Text 3 expresses how memory is a powerful tool. It's used to overcome hardships in our lives. So I'm repeating what I said in earlier in the introduction. Trent Dalton illustrates the power of our imaginations and memory in providing us with the will to endure hard times. So I'm just embellishing what I'm saying. The passage is told in first person from the boy's perspective, and its anecdotal nature presents a powerful message. So I'm just adding little bits and pieces here that are building an impression with the marker. He states, "I'm more than a little concerned that Slim's prison fantasies are becoming mine," which suggests that the sharing of memories through stories has a strong influence on others. The short sentence, "That's how Slim beat Black Peter." You'll remember in the earlier thing I used the one about the sentence after this one. So I'm using this one this time. The short sentence employs prison slang to state that his memories kept him going while he was in solitary confinement. That's what I would think Black Peter was about. Dalton employs tactile imagery in "he'd thumb the peaks and valleys of his knuckles." I didn't use that one before, so I thought that was a nice one to use, and it's a means of triggering a memory of the Gold Coast which would distract him. Contrast is also used to indicate the difference between here, the jail, and there, the boundless universe in his mind. This reinforces that our imagination and memory is a powerful force in shaping how we see the world. In essence, the story promotes the strength of having a positive outlook. So I didn't use memory there because I used it here. Imagination and memory. It's a powerful force in how we see the world, which is referring to the question. And then I just finish off with this. The purpose of the story is to reinforce that, the strength of having a positive outlook. So this word reinforces. All these things reinforce, and then I re-answer the question. And then my little conclusion, both text 2 and 3 examine the impact of memory in our lives and emphasize that our memories help to shape our perspective of ourselves and the wider world. So individual and collective experience is what I'm saying. Both examine the strength of connections to people and places and confirm the importance of memory on the human experience. I dropped human experience on the end there just to finish off, but you'll notice everywhere else in the paper I haven't mentioned that. It's not necessary, and it's much better. The marker will think you're a much better student if you're able to make your own personal statements, and they clearly will understand what the human experience is about. The reading paper in the HSC is marked by the one marker, so they'll go through and read your questions after each other. So they'll build an impression as they're marking, oh, this student knows what they're talking about, oh, they're using different things. They really understand their language. I'm going to give that 7 out of 7.